This is one of a series of American locos I purchased from eBay over the last couple of months, and I don't know what the class is. I'll try and find out. They all look pretty much the same to me. Anyway, it's a Bachmann Santa Fe livery, running number 3500. It looks in good nick, but apparently it's a non-runner. There YouTubers, and welcome to another service and video from Sorts6233. And on the bench tonight is the Santa Fe loco. I really don't know these numbers, probably GP something or other. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do, take my PowerPoint and try and apply it. I've got about 5 volts and there's not a lot happening whatever I do. It's a Bachmann split chassis locomotive, Bobo bogies, couple are okay at one end but missing at the other. Is that deliberate from the owner? I don't know. The handrails in good condition, so I want to be careful with that. It's even got the double horn at the front. So I think let's get it opened up and see what we find. It seems as if it's held in by these little lugs on either side of the motor casing, and I've just prized them apart. Oops, and then I put one together and back in again. So let me try this one again. And eventually it seems to be moving out. There we go. Motor in the centre and the light at the front. The bogies are held in by lugs which are clamped between the two halves of the chassis. I made a mistake once before of trying to remove something like this without slackening off the chassis. So let me try not to make that mistake again. So I'm going to remove these retaining screws. That should open up the insides, the innards as it were. And here we go. Oops, there's just a little bit of tape wrapped around this bit at the front. I'm not sure why, so I'll just carefully remove the tape, keep it onto one side, and now we can see what we have inside. Still got to free this one a little bit. There we go. Oops, and the whole thing falls out. Right, so there's our innards. Here is a motor. The chassis pieces form the two poles of the motor, in that they pick up the power through the bogies and then fed to the two poles of the motor. which usually has this plastic protective shield around it to insulate it from the chassis. Right, let's see what happens now if I apply just a little bit of power. And at least the motor seems to be okay. I don't like when that happens. Maybe suggests that one of the windings might be open circuit. Or it might just need a bit of wakening up. Anyway, I'll leave that aside for the time being. And this lamp is stuck there. I'll just quick check and make sure that the lamp lights. It does. So, if everything works there, there's obviously been a problem between here and here. So it might just be a case of clean, lubricate and reassemble. And there's really not much more I can do, is there? These are the dry shaft arms that fit between the motor end and the drive end. I'm just going to make sure that the bogies are free enough to move. Oh, I'm trying to figure out how could I test it, but then if I fit this arm in there and twist, right, so that works. And I can see that the gears are turning. It's quite a high gear ratio, so I have to really turn this to make any movement. And similarly with the other one. So while I have it out, I think it'll just be a case of trying to lubricate. So I'll get that done and we'll come back and reassemble. This could be a simple enough repair, hopefully. So after doing my customary lubrication, cleaning, I've checked the windings in the motor and I don't find anything untoward. So I fitted the motor into one half of the chassis and I'm just going to make sure that it's okay at the time being. And as you can see, it runs alright. I'm using one chassis half and one pole as my contacts, and they work okay. I have to insert the retaining lugs and these insulating washers on each side before I insert the top half. So I've given this a little clean as well, and in here the other motor contact is made just about there. So when I fit this on, it will sit over the motor, making sure that the insulating cellophane, whatever it is, doesn't come adrift. And it might just do that. Nope, it's okay there, it's okay there. Then making sure that these are inserted into the chassis halves, and that doesn't look too bad. So my next check is to see if the motor runs from applying power to the chassis halves. Oops. and as you can see it does so. So when I put the bogies on, the power will be picked up from here. You can just see where the friction has taken place, and the motor's running. So I'm now going to fit the screws here and here. Oops, the other one's tried to get away. Then a little check to make sure that there is insulation between the two chassis halves, and again quick application of power across the chassis halves, and we can see that the motor is running from where the pickups would be at this side and at this side. So, and of course, in my haste, I've now realised that I should have, let me just pull out a wee bit to let you see how silly I've been, and that is when I assemble the halves, I can't get the bogies in. The bogies had to be fitted before I build chassis. And now we'll try and reassemble again. I looked through my spares and I found a spare coupling for this style of Bachmann. I have the coupler hook, retaining clip, and a little spring. So I will see how this fits in. I think there's a little peg in here. No. Spring seems to sit in like that. Yep. Oops. The spring sits into the little retaining clip. And there we are. That works. Excellent. In here, if I take the bogie, hopefully I should maneuver this into here. And similarly on this side, and there's a kind of little protruding arm. That's good. Now to fit the other half over these two, that one, these two screws without losing anything. Easy. I'm actually just going to give myself a little bit of height by resting these on here. And that's the sort of thing that can happen. So lift the drive shaft. Oops. No. Fit that in there. This goes in here. There's so many bits that are flexible here. Right, now I'll try this again from this angle. There we go. A wee bit of rotation, sits in fine. Okay, right, that feels good. This half. Over everything. And somehow or other, oh yeah, I was thinking about the headlamp where it went, but in fact there is just a little groove on either side of these, so I need to feed these retaining pillars. What would it be? Almost equivalent to washers or somehow. And this side. I'm not tightening either of them up right now until I make sure everything is embedded. And I'm also looking here. Can you see those arched pickups? Make sure that they're making contact with the chassis, the one. And similarly with this one. And in fact, if you look, I don't know if you can see this, but I've caught the copper contact inside here. So I just try and ease this out. Okay, now you might just see it coming out. There we go. Whoops, back in again. Oh, maybe it liked it in there. Well, you know, gotta take what's dealt with these days. So, and in that's better there. The other side is fine. So now I can start to apply tension to these chassis holding screws. Again, I'm not making it absolutely tight. Okay, now the rollers are set up and I have tested it, so hopefully it's going to go this time. So it's okay in rehearsals. So this way it should be equivalent to going forward, and it's running that way, and the wheels are making it go to my left or your right. And then coming through the other way, there it is, picking up by itself. And there's about 6 volts on that one. And I can't see much wrong with that. So what was causing the problem in the first place from Windows? To be honest, I don't really know. maybe just need a little bit of TLC. So it's had some TLC, and certainly seem to be responding. So the next thing I want to do is fit the lamp. So I'm going to let that run for a little while, then we'll fit the lamp, and then we'll put it onto the track. Fitting the lamp seems to be no more complex an operation than taking the bulb, which has its contact wires bent over, and sliding them into this groove. Sorry, my fingers are in the way, like so, and then gently easing it in about as far as it can go, which is about there. Could probably go in a bit further. Seems to be okay. So if I then put it back onto the track, the rolling road I do see. Right, let's see. Keep your eye on the lamp. And, yeah, oops. Right, my rolling road, I'm sure, rather than the yeah, there we go. Keep your eye on the lamp, and you can see it lights up. Of course, these are not monodirectional, they're unidirectional. So going in the other direction, the lamp still lights. Happy with that, so let's get onto the test track and see if I can get it to run round, and also maybe haul a couple of wagons or box cars or whatever happens to be available. The chassis should fit nicely into the body casing. The lamp goes to the front underneath the cab, and that should fit in there, and I'm just going to ease the body over these little lugs. I certainly don't want to force anything at this stage. And that should just ease in. And is that it? There's still a bit of a gap here, so I'll just maneuver this. There we go. That's the Santa Fe, number 3500, in this lovely blue and yellow livery, with the horns up front, handrails all round. So I'm going to set it up on my test track and let it run. Catching my Santa Fe, I believe it's a GP50 locomotive. According to my research, and it's a bit noisy, unfortunately, which may be understandable considering the drive mechanism. So I might actually have a look later on and see if I can make it a little bit quieter. I'm not just sure how. Anyway, seems to be running smoothly enough. You can see the light there. Sorry about the shaky hand. Yep, I'm just pulling a nice rake of American freight. Not sure a flatbed, what that is, but it's just there. I would have felt happier if I found an actual fault, but I often get locomotives where you just clean it up, give it a bit of oil, and put it together again, and hey, there you are. So a replacement coupler with spring and clip, and away she goes. So here we are, back where we started, with my Santa Fe GP50, running number 3500. Main difference is it now works, and it also has couplers fitted at the rear and at the front. So we've seen it go, and I think it's a successful repair and just shows the benefit of TLC. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked that, and please subscribe if you want to follow me on more model train repairs. I cover N gauge, 00 gauge and any other gauge that happens to come along, and I will rabbiting on again. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, take care.